Rabotai, welcome to another edition of our Wednesday night shiur by Kilat Hashem. This shiur was sponsored by David Hai Ben Nissan. May he have a lot of hatzlacha. Leilun Nishmat El Natan Ben Miriam Avraham Ben Mazal Miriam Bat Frecho Liza Bat Sarah, and for Refuat Shlemat Moshe Rafael Ben Adina Michael Ben Basha and Gabriel Moshe Chaim Ben Leah Lena. May Hashem send them Refuat Shlema speedily. Okay, so tonight we're going to speak about something that it's like a continuation of what we talked about before. We're going to speak about the TESHUVA, how to repent according to the ARI CHAKADOSH. Now, why do I say according to the ARI CHAKADOSH? We're in Chodesh Elul right now, Chodesh Rachamim V'Selichot, right? And Chachamim say that Chodesh Elul is a month where all the gateways are open. We go to Slichot, we say the 13 attributes 4 times every morning before Tefillah, right? Kel, Rachum, V'Chanun. By the way, guys, just a small thing on the side. When you say V'Ya'avor, the Sfaradim, the halacha is, it's very important. If you don't do this, it's like, God forbid, you're mikatzitz b'nitiyot, doing Averah. When you say Hashem, Hashem, you have to make a stop between two. You can't say Hashem, Hashem. You have to say Hashem. There's a pasek over there. Hashem. You understand? You have to make a stop in between. Pause. So yeah, like it's two separate. You understand? So when we say the 13 attributes, we are opening the 13 attributes in Shamayim. Now, it's not something simple, guys. Right now, we are living in the time when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Shamayim after the Jews did the golden calf. These are the days, mamash. We are living in that time. Now, what do I mean when I say we're living in that time? When we have a certain time of the year that corresponds to the times that happen, for example, like Rosh Hashanah, when we blow the shofar, we're not just blowing the shofar for something that once happened. We're blowing the shofar because it's happening right now. When we do Sukkot, when we celebrate Sukkot, it's happening right now. So right now, Kibbutz Yaakov, Moshe Rabbeinu was up in Shamayim asking for mercy. So this is a very auspicious time to do Teshuvah. And the 40 days that we do Selichot from the beginning of Elul, which is today, till the end. What was the last day? Yom Kippur. It's how many days? 40 days. How many se'ah, certain cubits of measurements, do we have in the mikvah? 40 se'ah. These 40 days that we are saying selichot correspond to 40 days, 40 se'ah that we have in the mikveh. So right now, it's as if we're in a spiritual mikveh too. Understand? It's very amazing. And if you miss one day, it's like you missed one se'ah. If you missed one se'ah, 1 cubit measurement in the mikveh, it's like the mikveh is pasul. You understand? So slichot is very important. The ARI CHAKADOSH, in Sha'ar Kavanot, Rav Chaim Vital, his foremost student, says, I testify that my Rebbe, who was Ashkenazi, on Yom Kippur, the ARI CHAKADOSH used to pray Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi's nosach. Why? Because he wanted to commemorate his father. It's Yizkor for the Ashkenazim. So in honor of his father, he used to say Nosach Ashkenaz on Yom Kippur. But he testifies that every day the ARI CHAKADOSH would wake up at dawn and say Selichot word by word. So if you see a guy in the middle of Selichot, I'm just there for the Ve'a'or, and the rest of him he's learning Gemara, he's doing something wrong. If the ARI CHAKADOSH, which is the greatest Sephardic rabbi, would say Selichot word by word with the Chazan, what will we say? You have to. So this is a very, very powerful time. Moshe Rabbeinu, when the Jews did the golden calf, the Zohar Kadosh says, Hashem gave them a secret. God said every time something bad happens, say this. What is it? The 13 attributes. Hashem, Hashem, Kel, Rachum, V'Chanun. So this is a very amazing time. But it's not going to work just like that. You can't just say to Hashem, 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 Kel, Rachum, V'Chanun, Salamat, I'm going to have a sweet new year. No, it doesn't work like that. We need to do something called Teshuvah. Teshuvah is important, no? What's interesting is that in the Torah itself, Teshuvah is only hinted at. It's not said explicitly, do Teshuvah. It's one of the 613 mitzvot. In the Torah, open the Torah, it's only hinted to. Why? Where? Better yet, 2 weeks ago, we read Parashat V'Etchanan. What did it say over there? All these things are going to find you in the end of days. V'shafta ad Hashem Elokecha, and you shall return to your God. That's it. That's where it says Teshuvah. Why? If you look in Sefer Bereshit, for example, when Reuven switched the beds. Remember, he switched the beds, and the Torah said it was if he was with his father's concubine, as if. Reuven, did he do teshuvah? He did teshuvah. Did God accept it? No. If he would have accepted it, he would have gotten the firstborn back. He would have gotten the double inheritance, but he didn't. Teshuvah didn't work. And he was really doing teshuvah. He saved Yosef. The Torah testifies. The Jewish people, when they were in Egypt, 210 years they were there. You think they did teshuvah? They did teshuvah. Did God accept it? You got to be there a certain time, then you're coming out. What happened to teshuvah? The Jews did the golden calf. Did they do teshuvah? Of course, they did teshuvah. The great. Not only that, most of the Jews didn't even do it. How many Jews did the golden calf? 3,000. Out of how many? 600,000 men. That means most of the Jews were on the sidelines. Did teshuvah help? No.
Hold on.
When the spies came back after Israel, they were there for 40 days, they came back, and they said to the Jews, the land is good, but we can't go there. What did the Jews do? They started to cry. Shabbat. Did they do teshuvah? Of course they did teshuvah. The next day, what did they tell Moshe? They cried just only for one night. One night they cried. One night, that's it. What did he say to Moshe the next morning? We're doing teshuvah. We're repenting. We're going to go and fight. What did Moshe say? Don't go. You won't be successful. The Torah says that when the Jews went up, they didn't listen to Moses. Some Jews went to fight. They went into Israel and they fought. It says the Knaani came out. V'yaktum at Horma. They wiped them off. God said, Hashem won't be with you. What happened to teshuvah? Why is teshuvah only hinted to in the Torah? The Rambam, on the pshat level, on the simplistic level, the Rambam says, what's teshuvah? He calls it teshuvat ha-mishkal. I want to do teshuvah right now. I want to repent for all my bad deeds. Chilul Shabbat, Chilul Yom Tov, Arayot, Shpichut Damim, whatever the case will be, Avodah Zarah. I want to do teshuvah. For talking in the Bet Knesset during Tefillah, I want to do teshuvah. How do I do teshuvah? The Rambam says, you won't do teshuvah, you cannot do teshuvah, until the same exact test comes to you, the same exact, at the same way, with the same, has to be everything the same, and you're going to say no. That means to do teshuvah, real teshuvah. Let's say I want teshuvah for speaking in the shul. Let's say you spoke in the shul during Kriyat Sefer Torah. You have to wait till Kriyat Sefer Torah happens again, reading the Torah. Then somebody's going to come to you and talk to you, and you're going to say no. That's teshuvah, the Rambam says. Or let's say you did teshuvah, God forbid, you did arayot with a woman you weren't supposed to be with. You have to have the same exact test. That means she has to come to you. Let's say she was the one who seduced you. She has to come and seduce you again. And you have to have the same desire, and you have to say no. That's the only way to teshuvah. The Rambam says this. I'm not talking to you ARI CHAKADOSH right now. I'm not talking to you Kabbalah. I'm talking to you Rambam. The Rambam was on a Mekubah. Right? The Rambam says to teshuvah, like that's tough, right? As I take upon myself never to talk again in the shul. Until the same test doesn't come to me, it's still going to do teshuvah. Why? If I like to eat non-kosher food, and my friend doesn't like to eat non-kosher food, and we both pass McDonald's, and my friend wants to eat, and he says no, and I don't want to eat, and obviously I'm not going to eat, right? Well, yes or no doesn't make a difference. Who gets a mitzvah? The one that has a desire, or the one that doesn't have a desire? The one that has a desire gets the mitzvah, right? Because he has the desire. If I totally destroyed my Yetzer Hara, and then the test happens to me again, I don't get the sachar for teshuvah, says the Rambam. I need to do teshuvat ha-mishkal. What's mishkal? Has to be on the same weight. If it doesn't weigh the same, it doesn't count, says the Rambam. It's tough. So teshuvah is not that simple to do real teshuvah. Now, the Chachamim said there is something that's almost as great as teshuvah, but it's not as great as teshuvah. What is that? Tzedakah. The Gemara says, Amar Shmuel. You know who Shmuel is? No, there's a different one. Shmuel in the Gemara.
Shmuel Katan.
No, there's different. That's a Tanakh. There's Shmuel in the Gemara. No, he wasn't Bukhari, though he was dark skinned, the Gemara says. It was like at the Chulin, I think. Shmuel was a student of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi Shmuel. What happened? The Gemara says that he wasn't a very nice looking guy. He was a doctor and an astronomer and maybe one of the greatest Talmudists that ever lived. Rav and Shmuel, they always have a machlok in the Gemara. Why does the Gemara call him a doctor and how come they never called him a Rebbe? His father's name was Abba. Abba. And his grandfather's name was also Abba. That means his father was Abba bar Abba. That's from there you learn that you could call your son your own name. From this Gemara we learn that let's say I want to call my son Shalom. I learned from this Gemara that it's allowed. There's no ga'ava in it because we have in the Gemara Abba bar Abba. Why would you call your son Abba if your name is Abba? So you see there was such a thing. There's, by the way, in the Gemara also they used to call Amoraim in the name of a letter. Amar Rabbi Yudan, Yud. They used to call Tanaim the names of letters. There's something like that too. So this Shmuel, his father, Abba bar Abba, he was a merchant. He was a merchant. He used to sell linen, meshi. They used to take silk from worms and they used to make actual silk and linens. So one day he was in Midian. Midian means Saudi Arabia, the Gemara says. He was in Saudi Arabia and he was doing business over there. He was a very big Talmudist too. He was very strong in Torah. Shmuel's father, Abba. His name was Abba, Abba. And some, witchcraft woman, Shmuel Bean, one of those ladies comes to him and says to him, here is, the Gemara said, I'm not making up a number. I'm not trying to exaggerate the story. 1,000 dinarim. 1,000 dinars. That's a big amount of money. All you gotta do is one thing, be with me tonight. That's it. So obviously he's not gonna do it. What happened? The Gemara says that he was curious. Why do you want to be with me suddenly? He was an old guy. He's a young sorceress. And she tells him, I see in the stars that tonight, if you're gonna be with a woman, if she's gonna get pregnant, she's gonna give birth to a boy that the world has never seen. I saw in the stars that you're going to have a son like that. Similar to what Korach saw, that he saw a star coming out of him, and it's Shmuel, Shmuel, Shmuel. So when he heard that, he said Salamat, and he said Hashem Meforash. The Gemara says this. He said Hashem Meforash, and he made a Fitzat HaDerech all the way to his wife. She was with him, and he went Fitzat HaDerech back. And suddenly the Chachamim sees, after 3 months, she's pregnant. Who are you with? They asked her. She said, I was with my husband. How? He hasn't been here for 3 months. You're lying. You cheated on your husband. Eshet ish. You chayav mitah. So they took her to the Beit Din and she wouldn't admit. They're giving her malkut. What happened? From Ruach HaKodesh, his father found out what they did and he made Fitzat HaDerech back and he said it was me. Who was that child? Shmuel. They called him Shmuel. Shmuel says in the Gemara that I remember when they hit my mother with the lashes when I was in my mother's womb, where they hit me on the head. And I still have the mark in my head. Shmuel said in the Gemara, I'm just trying to give you a certain introduction, who is this man called Shmuel in the Gemara? Next time when you learn Gemara and you see the name Shmuel, don't just say it's just another rabbi. You're reading about a giant here. He said, I remember the woman who helped, the midwife who gave birth to me, who helped me give birth. I remember her face. And this man had no forgetfulness. He didn't forget anything in his life. So this Shmuel, he was a doctor. And Rabbi Yehuda Nasi had a problem in his eye. And he was his student. And he told Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, I'm going to make you a mixture, put it in your eye, and you're going to be healed. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says, no, I'm too nezhni. I'm too sensitive. I can't put stuff in my eye. He said, okay, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna rub it around. He said, still, I can't put stuff on my face, I'm too sensitive. So what did he do? He was such an expert doctor that he took the mixture, he put it under his pillow. When he slept on it, the hevel, the dampness went up to him and it cured him. Shmuel said in the Gemara, I know the cure for any sickness in the world except for three. So he was a big man. Rebbe wanted to give him smicha. To get smicha from Rebbe means that you're one of the Gdoladors. But anytime he wanted to give him smicha, make him a rabbi, to call him Rebbe Shmuel, the rabbis were not there in the yeshiva that day. like this, destiny. So Shmuel goes to Rebbe and tells him, don't worry about it. I'm never going to get smicha. How do you know? Look at this. So I saw the book of Adam HaRishon. I saw the book of Adam HaRishon. And in the book of Adam HaRishon says all the rabbis that will ever exist. And it has my name over there. And it says Shmuel will be a very big doctor and a big chacham, but he will never get smicha. So he told Rebbe, give up. I'm never going to get smicha. This was the man who Shmuel was. When Shmuel saw that he will never get smicha, where did he go? He went to Babel, to Iraq, to teach Torah over there. There was no Torah. He went to teach Torah over there. And he made a big name to himself by the king's court as an astronomer. The king, Shmor Malka, the Persian king, the Persians ruled Iraq, he liked them a lot. They say Shmuel used to juggle like 12 knives in front of him to make the king happy. So he was very big for the Jews, Shmuel. He had a friend, a goy, a magician. Magician, I mean, not a guy who does fake things at parties. I'm telling you, a real Rasha. His name was Avlet. Avlet. He was a goy, Persian goy. So once Shmuel and Avlet, they were buddies. They used to talk about astronomy and stuff. So Shmuel tells Avlet, they were talking about astronomy, and they see a group of people going to work. And Avlet looks at the Jew, and he says, you see that Jew over there? He's not coming back home today. He's going to die. Shmuel tells him, the Jewish people are ma'ala mazal. Let's see what's going to happen. The day passes, they're still schmoozing, and suddenly he's going back home. So Avlet says, what's going on over here? Shmuel said, wait a second, I'm going to find out. He goes to the guy, the Jew, and says, what did you do today at work? He says, we at work, we share our lunch. Every day, we collect all the lunches, and we put it in the middle of the table, and everybody eats the lunch together. I saw my friend, he didn't bring lunch today. Probably was poor. And he was embarrassed. So when I went to collect, he didn't even give tzedakah. Look what he did. When I went to collect from everybody the food for the lunch, I acted as if I took from him something, so he shouldn't be embarrassed. And I put it on the table. Shmuel then got up and said, the Gemara says, Amar Shmuel, tzedakah tatzil mimavet. That's the story. This is where we get it from. Because the guy was supposed to die. And because he saved his friend's life by acting as if he took something from him, so we learn from here, tzedakah saves you from death. So tzedakah is big, right? Shmuel said tzedakah is big, it's big. Shmuel is great, we just talked about him. But tzedakah is not TESHUVA. Why? Tzedakah is not TESHUVA. Says Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya in Minchat Yehuda. Tzedakah is big, yes, it's very big. In fact, the Rav Chaim Vital says that a person should do Pidyon Nefesh 3 times a year. Once before Rosh Hashanah, once before Yom Kippur, and once before Sukkot. Give tzedakah. You know what Pidyon Nefesh is? Redeeming of the soul. You give a certain amount of money to tzedakah, the rabbi does something for you, it's Pidyon Nefesh.
How much is it now?
It's about $160. But he says it's not TESHUVA. It's not tzedakah is not TESHUVA. Tzedakah is written in the Torah. Teshuvah is only hinted to in the Torah. And the Zohar says the reason why the Teshuvah is not actually written explicitly in the Torah is because it's higher than the Torah. Teshuvah higher than tzedakah, because tzedakah is actually written in the Torah. Last week's parasha, right? You should give tzedakah. We read it. But Teshuvah is not written in the Torah. You know why it's not written in the Torah? Because it's higher than the Torah. There's a famous midrash where God goes to Chokhmah. Chokhmah is wisdom. It says the Jews sinned. Chokhmah said, listen, if they sin, that means they have no wisdom. I don't want anything to do with them. He goes to the Torah. Says, the Torah, the Jews sinned. Torah says, listen, it says over here, if they sin, they die. Kill them. Then he goes to Teshuvah. He says, Teshuvah, the Jews sin. What does Teshuvah say? V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. And you should come back to Hashem, your God. Shuva Yisrael, come back Hashem.
So how come the Teshuvah was not accepted by the
That's a whole different thing. The point was it's not written explicitly in the Torah. You understand? That's a whole different other sugya. How come tshuva was not accepted by them? So tshuva is great, greater than tzedakah. How come it's greater than tzedakah? Rabbi Yehuda Taya brings over here a proof that tzedakah doesn't save your life. It does save you from death now, but the deen, the judgment is still on your head. Tzedakah pushes away the deen. If you were supposed to get punished now, it pushes it away for another 12 months, let's say. It gives you time to do what? TESHUVA. Tzedakah is time. Tzedakah is time. How do we know that? From Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, the first exile the Jews had as a nation. When the Jews went to exile, he had a dream. He had a dream. A dream that he saw that the kingdom of Babylon was going to be destroyed, and Daniel told him, do tzedakah. Why tzedakah? Because it's going to push away the destruction, because Babylon did have to be destroyed at the end. So do tzedakah that it won't happen in your day, it'll happen in your son's time. And he said, okay. And he gave the tzedakah. So when you're giving tzedakah, you should know one thing. You're just buying yourself time. When you give tzedakah, you're just buying yourself time. The main thing is teshuvah. Now we said according to the Rambam, teshuvah is pretty hard. But according to the Kabbalah of the ARI CHAKADOSH, teshuvah is 10 times harder. Because you have to understand, what are you doing when you're doing teshuvah? You are going back in time and erasing a part of your life. And if you really do teshuvah out of love, you're actually switching reality. You're making it as if you did a mitzvah. Could you imagine?
It switches.
Yeah, it switches if you really do it out of love.
It's highest level.
But how come the ARI says teshuvah is so hard? I'm going to read you something from the Sha'ar Ruach HaKodesh, one of the ARI's books. He says here, Rabbi Yehuda Taya quoting, Hineh b'Sha'ar Ruach HaKodesh, behold in the book of Ruach HaKodesh, the ARI wrote a book of how to achieve divine inspiration. Thank you.
ARI Chaim Vital.
If Chaim Vital wrote it, the ARI told him. Nitba'er shama, we learn over there, kama mine tikunei avonot. Certain avonot, sins, he writes down, what to do to teshuvah. How do you make teshuvah for those sins? And I'm just going to read you some of them. God forbid, habal eshet ish. Of course, nobody here would do such a thing. Just for an example, a person who's with a married woman. How many days does he have to fast just to fix that sin? One time he did it. Now, when I say one time, I don't mean one night. I mean one time going in and one time going out. That's called one time being with a eshet ish. That's one time. To fix one time, you have to fast shachayamim, 325 days. That means you have to bring upon yourself yisurim. Yisurim means suffering that is equal to almost a year. 325 days just to fix one time going in and out. That we just started. That's the first thing the ARI says.
How are you able to fix those numbers after
We'll get there, Ezrat Hashem. Habal azachor. God forbid, today, LGBT parade, that guy in London, you know,
Rabbi.
men with men. One time. Tzarich lit'anot regel yamim. You have to fast 233 days. Now, just because one of the days is more, one of the days doesn't mean that sin is worse or less. It just happens to be, this is the days that he accepted from Eliyahu Hanavi that you have to fast to fix one time. Happens to be with a married woman is 325 days. And to be with a man with a man is 233 days. 233. Hamotzi zer levatala, that's the famous one. One time a person does zer levatala, he wastes his, I don't want to, Lashon Nikiya. You have to fast padet ta'aniyot, 84 days. Now, where did he get all these numbers from? So I'll give you an example. How come when a person does zer levatala, he has to fast 84 times? Because when he does zer levatala, there's 5 types. One of them is he makes a pagam, a blemish, in the letters Aleph, Het, Hey, and Ayin. What do all those letters have in common? They're all guttural sounds. Aleph, Het. Het, ayin. If you take aleph, aleph is how much? 1. Het is how much? 8. 8 plus 1 is? 9. Hey is how much? 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. Ayin is how much? 70. 70 plus 14 is how much? 84. So to fix the letters that you messed up, you gotta fast that how many days? Now, let's say I just fasted 84 times straight without thinking of those letters. You didn't do it. You actually have to know what you're doing. It's not according to the ARI. Now, if you thought the Rambam's version of TESHUVA was big, this is a different level, right? It's a totally different level. We're in the days of Rachamim and Selichot, and I'm going to give you guys some tips how to go around this.
Loopholes.
But it gets even worse. Haboel nida, one who was with his wife that was a nida. Now, once again, every time you go in and out is one time. It's not one night. It's every time. You have to fast Pab Ta'aniot, 82 fasts. For every time you were with your wife, it was a nida. 82 fasts.
Is this about touching?
No, it's actually the doing the biyah. Haboel behema, God forbid, like those goyim, one who's with an animal, chaya, a domesticated animal, a wild animal, an ox, a chicken,
A donkey.
a donkey that's a domesticated animal. How many fasts do you have to fast?
The most.
Rayot aniyot, 216.
Ay.
Rayot. 216 fasts for every time. Of course, none waiting here today. Hapogem b'machshava. This is a real scary one. I'm afraid to say it myself. One who sins in his mind. Paz ta'aniot. 87 fasts. One who sins in his mind. That means in my mind, I bring it upon myself. I'm talking about a case where you have nothing better to do, and you're sitting in the couch and you're in your mind fantasizing on purpose. Barminan. That's Paz Ta'aniot. 87 fasts. It's more than Zerah Batala even. Haba'al anochrit, one who's with a goya. O mishtamesh b'kabbalah ma'asik, this is really scary. One who uses practical Kabbalah. Practical Kabbalah. What does that mean? You go to a guy and he does all this kind of stuff for you, all this hiji-biji stuff. He writes kamiyas for you.
Yoshka.
Like how Yoshka did, but these days we also have people who do this kind of stuff. Or who try. It's so bad that ARI didn't even give how many ta'anios there are. The ARI didn't even write how many. And to be with a goya is not written explicitly in the Torah. What's written explicitly in the Torah? One who's with a goya in public. Haboel aramit, kanaim pogimbo, like Zimri. But let's say you took her into your house, nobody knows. That's not written in the Torah. Why? It's such a bad sin. It's even higher than all the sins of the Torah. The ARI didn't even write how many times you have to fast for that. That's how bad it is. Litikun shvuat sheker. You falsely swear. I swear it in vain. I swear it, I lied. What's shvuat sheker? Not only when I lied. Let's say I said, for the mashal, a person swears that this is a table. That's called shvuat sheker. We all know that it's a table. That's a shvuat sheker, shvuat shav. You can't swear that on something that's obvious. How many fasts do you have to fast for that? Koach o lamed zayin ta'aniot, 28 or 37 fasts. For one time you swear it in vain, the ARI says.
But it just say I swear it doesn't mean.
No, if you have to swear on something.
Right.
But still, it's not a good practice.
No,
I swear.
Now,
I don't like
this is for regular averot. How about ga'ava? Do you have to fast for ga'ava?
Of course.
One time a person had ga'ava. One time, nah ta'aniyot. You have to fast 55 times just to fix one time you had ga'ava. Imagine how many times we're all walking outside ga'ava. We had a good day, or somebody gave us a compliment. How much we have to be careful. The Gemara says that a regular person is not allowed to have ga'ava. A Talmid Chacham has to have an eighth of ga'ava. And then Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says, even that I don't want to have in the Gemara. Even that I don't want to have. Ga'ava is very bad. And if you open up the Rambam's book, Sha'arei Ahava, Sefer Ahava, Sefer Mada, he writes over there, every midah, let's say a person is cheap. It's a bad midah, right? Kamtzan. Or he's a kapdan. You know what a kapdan is? He holds a grudge all the time. Like he can't get over something. Because every midah, you have to know how to go through the golden path. What does that mean? Sometimes you have to use it. Sometimes you don't have to. The Gemara says that to be angry is a very bad sin. Anger. But sometimes you see in the Gemara that rabbis got angry on purpose. Why? Sometimes you have to give your son chinuch. Sometimes you have to give your fear into your employees. Sometimes you have to make people listen to you. Sometimes a rabbi has to be angry. The Gemara says that the rabbi is allowed to take revenge on his honor. Every person is not allowed to take revenge. But a rabbi has to take revenge. Why has to take revenge? Because if he doesn't take revenge, it's as if he hasn't respected God's Torah. It's a chilul Hashem. And the Gemara says any rabbi who doesn't take revenge on the Torah, on his Torah, which is Hashem's Torah, don't go to him. He's not a good rabbi. But if you see a rabbi who takes revenge on the Torah, tie him around your waist like a snake. And it's paskin in the Shulchan Aruch. Siman Reish Men Bet. In your idea. It's paskin in the halakha. It's very important. The rabbi knows how to defend his stature. But Ga'ava, the Rambam says, you have to stay away from it like running away from a scorpion. That's how bad Ga'ava is. Every time you have Ga'ava, 55 fasts. Continues. Last one I'm going to say. One who disrespects his parents. Every time you disrespect your parents, you have to fast Mahta'aniyot 45 times. Just because you disrespected your parents. Every time you disrespect your parents, you have to fast 45 times. Now, when you look at this and you say, this is impossible. It's impossible to do these things. Not only that, you can ask a major question. What can you ask? The ARI HaKadosh is not going to make stuff up, right? Where did he get all of this? You open up a Gemara in Masechet Yoma, the last parak. Yes, that's true. Look at the Gemara. I'm a regular dude. I want to know where it's written in the Gemara, TESHUVA. Rav Matya ben Charash asked Rabbi Ishmael Kohen Gadol, asked Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, did you hear what are the 4 stages of TESHUVA? What does he say? A person didn't put on tefillin one day. He desecrated a positive commandment. He does TESHUVA, vidui, they forgive him. A person went over a negative commandment. He ate fat, chelev. He does TESHUVA, and he has to wait for Yom Kippur. A person went over karet. He slept with a nida. What does the Gemara say? He does TESHUVA, he waits for Yom Kippur, and then suffering have to come upon him. Yisurim. A person did chilul Hashem, he has to die. Nothing helps. Where do you find over there that you have to fast? Find me once in the Gemara that you have to fast. Nowhere. Doesn't say it anywhere. So where did the ARI come up with this? So the Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya answers. You see, every time you do a sin, what happens?
You enjoy it.
Let's say I'm in shul, and my friend has a very juicy piece of gossip about my other friend. And they're reading the Torah. And another guy over there heard a shiur, and the rabbi said, anybody who listens to the Torah gets refuah shlema. And this guy specifically is sitting on the first row, and you're schmoozing in the back with your friend, you're doing 3 averot. What? You said Lashon Hara. You desecrated the Bet Knesset. You spoke during davening. And you caused this guy to lose his mitzvah of Kriyat Torah. You did 4 averot, I'm sorry. And for every Lashon Hara that you said, every word, you went over a lav. How many averot you did over there? Let's say 100 averot in one shot. You did 100 averot. What did you do at that moment? I'm explaining to you. According to the ARI HaKadosh. Right now in Shamayim, when you have the test come to you, there is a klipa, a shell, a vessel that's covering a holy spark. A holy spark that's inside. And Hashem said that this holy spark cannot be redeemed from the Satan's hands only on the 37th year of this guy's life, on a Saturday, during Sefer Torah, in a shul. He has to have a specific test at that time, and if he goes over that test, he passes it, it gets redeemed. If he doesn't pass, what happens? That shell turns into a steel shell. Now to get it out is twice as hard. So what did you do? Not only did you cause the Satan to live longer, but you also caused that spark of holiness to stay even longer in the klipa, causing Mashiach to come even later. So what happens? That spark is a neshama. It's a soul. He's cursing you in Shamayim. He's saying, this guy, I was supposed to come out because of him. And he didn't take me out. So Hashem says, I'll get you out. How? Yisurim. I'm going to make him suffer. When he suffers, that's the second choice. It causes the spark to come out. You understand what I'm saying? How do you get around the suffering? By TESHUVA. But the ARI says it's not just simple to say Ashamti, Bagadeti, Gazalti. You can't just say Ashamnu, Bagadu, Gazalnu. It doesn't work like that. You have to also experience the suffering. Now it just happens to be every time you disrespect your parents, you cause 45 shells to cover that holy spark. To take away that suffering that would have come to you, you have to fast how many days? 45 times. A person who is with a nida, it happens to be that you cause the damage of 82 times. So to destroy that klipa, how many days you have to fast? 82 times. Now let's say I can't fast 82 times. What do I do? What do I do? I can't fast. And some sins that the ARI didn't even say it. There's the Rokech. The Rokech says every Chilul Shabbat you have to fast 301 times. Because what do you get punished for? How do you get punished? The Srefa. Srefa is 300. Every time a woman does a miscarriage or an abortion on purpose, she aborts her child. The Gemara says after 41 days, the woman is pregnant, the child is a child. It's a child. And she aborted it. Why? She couldn't afford it. She doesn't want to have another child. She just killed. You know how many fasts you have to fast for that? One abortion. You know, I saw a video how they do an abortion. Bar minan. They cut the child in pieces while it's in the mother's womb. And you see the child screaming. It's called a silent yell. Bar minan. And some women do it 7-8 times in their lifetime. Goyot, forget about it if you do it every month.
In my hospital, 13-year-old.
13-year-old. I will tell you. Those are nishamot. You understand? A woman who has a miscarriage, not an abortion. She had a miscarriage in day 50. And she doesn't know if the child was a boy or a girl. She has to wait 14 days before counting 7 clean days. Because that child has the halachic status of a girl. If we don't know whether it was a boy or a girl, it has the halachic status of a girl. That means it's a real child. It's a real child. How do you fix that, Rabotai? How do you fix it? How do you cause the suffering to go away? So Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya says, for every time you did a sin, if you can't fast how many days it says over here, which nobody could do that, in our days, nobody could do that, you have to at least try to fast one day, 24 hours, dip in the mikveh 7 times before starting the fast, fast for 24 hours, and the rest of the fast, you pay it off. How do we know this works? Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya says over here a scary story, about an old man who admitted to the rabbi that he slept with his daughter-in-law. Bar minan. And he came to ask Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya for a tikkun. And Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya told him to fast. How many days is for a married woman? 325 days, right? So he told him fast 24 hours and give the rest $325 to tzedakah. And he did it. After he did it, he died. And Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya saw him in a dream. How they don't tell him anything in the Beit Din, they just take him. They bring him into a room. And 2 angels, which are considered the doctors of Beit Din Shel Ma'ala, there are doctors over there too. They take him in a room and they do spiritual surgery on him,
Klipa.
and they take off the klipa from his brit milah.
Covered.
Yeah, it's covered. That means in Shamayim, you look the same way you look right now. You know that? You look the same exact thing. Your last Gilgul, you also look like this. The Gilgul before that, you also look like this. Hashem just puts you in specific parents that your DNA will still match. But there was a problem. This guy did 2 averot. He slept with a married woman and he slept with his daughter-in-law. It's 2 separate averot. He only did tikkun for one of them. So Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya says, if you did tikkun for one of them, even though you didn't do tikkun for the second one, you just didn't know to do. You didn't know. You forgot to tell them. They do you a chesed in Shamayim. They do you a kindness and they fix you without telling you anything. Because they see you still, you really wanted teshuvah. That means, Rabotai, teshuvah is big, right? But teshuvah is not just crying, Hashem, I'm sorry. It's also teshuvah. Sharei dim'a lo nin'alu. But you have to know one thing. If you don't want to suffer in this world, you don't want to suffer. You got to bring the suffering on yourself. That's why on the greatest day of atonement, what is that? Yom Kippur. What do? We fast. Rabotai, we fast. That's the main thing, to fast, not to eat. Because when you don't eat, you bring yourself to a higher spiritual elevation. A higher. Now, let's say I did 1,000 Zera Levatalas in my life. 1,000. Person is young. He does it a lot, right? He does it a lot. Now, I can't do 1,000 fasts. And every time pay $84, I'm going to go bankrupt. And I also don't have the power to do that. So the Yehuda Ptaya says there are a couple of levels. If you can, the first level is to fast for every sin. That means you got to fast 1,000 times. The second level, if you can't do that, try to at least fast 3 times in your life.
3 times?
3 times, at least 3 times.
Without the major holidays, right?
Without the major holidays, obviously. You can't say Tisha B'Av as a fast. That's something else. That's your repenting for the other sin of crying, right? We were there, right?
From the morning to night, is it considered fast?
That's considered a fast for our generation, yes. But, Rabotai,
From the morning to night.
when you fast, you have to understand. You can't just say, I'm taking upon myself a fast and the suffering is going to go away. You have to understand. Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya says, how come sometimes in your life, you do teshuvah, say, Hashem, I'm sorry, I'm not going to steal anymore. Right when you do teshuvah, what happens?
Test.
All the yisurim, suffering, come upon you. Why? Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya says. Rabbi Yehuda Ptaya says, you don't understand, that's the greatest kindness God is doing for you. The greatest kindness. That suffering
Cleans you out.
is cleaning you out for all those times. That means before you do teshuvah, Hashem said, I'm going to give you his olam haba over here. His olam haba is going to be done. Finished. So Hashem says, why should I wait? Just give him everything right now. But once you do teshuvah, God is forced to give you yisurim. Because what did Rav Matya ben Chayar say? You do teshuvah, and then yisurim have to come. But let's say you take upon the yisurim yourself, without waiting for God, what happens? Then those yisurim go away. They go away. And it's very easy not to eat for one day, and to give everything, rest to tzedakah. It's very easy to do such a thing.
But it's not equal.
You think it's not equal. It doesn't have to be equal. You understand? How do we know? Oh, because you have 1 billion averot. How are you going to fix everything? You got to go slowly by slowly. Now, I'm going to tell you another secret. There are certain times in a year where one fast could equal hundreds of fasts.
That's somewhere in Tevet.
That's the ARI, but you have to fast 3 days in a row. You're going to do that? No. There are certain times of the year where teshuvah during that time cleans a lot. That means Hashem is giving you a leeway, a loophole. When is that? The Torat Chacham, Rabbi Chaim de la Rosa, the foremost student of the Rashash, says, when you do teshuvah from the month of Elul till the end of Yom Kippurim, every teshuvah during that time is accepted in front of Hashem like a jewel. When you do teshuvah after midnight, even more so. When you do teshuvah during Sfirat HaOmer, your teshuvah is more accepted than the rest of the year. Why? During those times, the ARI says, the heavens are open and it's raining. You know what it says? When it rains, It pours. What is it pouring? Shefa. What's shefa? Abundance. Bracha. If you take the word shefa and you switch it around, switch their letters, what do you get? Pesha. Pesha is destruction. But Hashem is coming towards you. He's taking that pesha and he's turning it into shefa. So what do? The ARI says there is a time of the year when you wake up early in the morning and do silichot. Hashem sees you giving your life. Sleep is the sweetest thing in the world. You're doing yisurim. You're bringing suffering upon yourself. I can't wake before 9 o'clock. I can't do it. And you're forcing yourself to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do silichot. Oh, that's bringing suffering upon yourself. What's the greatest form of suffering? Bar Minan, sometimes suffering could go high and high and high and high. All those averot. Hashem is sick of waiting for you. God forbid, car accident, lost your job. Sometimes Hashem is very specific with a person, depending on your neshama. Don't think because I barely know how to read Gemara, and I don't know Mishnah, and I just know how to read Tehillim and Tefillah. Don't think you're not a big soul. There are huge souls which don't know how to learn Torah. That's just the way Hashem made them. There was a very big tzaddik, R.Shalom. He used to go to Rav Mordechai Sharabi and he used to tell him, teach me Etz Chaim. Rav Mordechai Sharabi said, you didn't come to this world to learn Etz Chaim. You came to read Zohar. All of his life he used to read Zohar, that's it. They were big tzaddikim. All their life they used to read Tehillim. I'm not telling you not to learn Gemara. I'm not saying not to try. I'm just letting you know. Don't think because you're a working guy you don't have a big soul. You have a big soul. It could be you have a gigantic soul. Could be you have a huge soul. Therefore, sometimes Hashem is more specific with you more than anybody else. Some guy, a Rasha, works in Manhattan, he eats neverot u'trefot. He eats non-kosher foods. He eats crabs and oysters. Goyim, when they eat oysters, they're chayav mitah. Why? Sometimes those things are alive. Ever minachai. They're always alive. They're eating ever minachai. It's chayav mitah from the Torah. Chayav mitah. And they say it's a delicacy, and this guy is bo'el goyot with a nidah, and his life is the best. Rabbi Yehuda Ptai says, you know what this guy is? It's one of those people who have, God forbid, sartan, cancer. So the doctor sees nothing is going to help him. So what does he do? He gives him marijuana, smoke for the rest of your life, enjoy the rest of your life. That's what Hashem does to this kind of guy. That's what Hashem does to him. He sees nothing is going to help him. He's not TESHUVA, so enjoy your marijuana, enjoy your good life. Enjoy it while you have it. And the next world will come face to face, and then we'll have the real cheshbon. Why wait for that? Why wait for that? And don't think Hashem doesn't have something in store for every single one of us in this room. Hashem has a very big line. A very big line. Now, if a person doesn't do the TESHUVA, let's say I just did TESHUVA. I said, Anna Hashem Chatati. And before I could do the Ta'aniyot and the Sigufim, a person passes away. What do they do to this kind of guy? Where is he going to suffer now? For that, Hashem created Gehenom. Gehenom is a place where a person accepts the suffering that he was supposed to get in this world. It was supposed to get in this world. Because sometimes, you make a certain mitzvah of tzedakah. And we said tzedakah is not TESHUVA. Tzedakah just pushes it away. A person builds a shul. And every day, everybody prays over there. He gets part of this mitzvah. Could you imagine one tzedakah he did for once in his life? He gave $100,000 to build a shul. And every day they're praying in there. That tzedakah has the power to push away suffering for this guy for the rest of his life even.
What if the money came from Shabbat?
Listen, Hashem has his own cheshbonot, of course. Hashem has his own cheshbonot, of course. You should know one thing. I'll tell you something, it's scary. Let's say a guy is making chilul Shabbat. And he makes bunches of money. He steals a lot, He says this diamond is worth, $5,000. It's really worth $3,000. He wants to make a buck on you. You understand? He's ona'ah. It's ona'ah. And then he takes all that money and he builds a nice Beit Midrash. The Chidah says, you know what kind of people are going to learn in that Beit Midrash? People like him. A person who prays in a shul, the people in that shul is just like the people who gave the money. So when you pray in a shul, don't just look at the inside, how beautiful it is, how nice is the interior, and this and that. You're learning in that place, you're like the guy who built it. So you better check who built that place. Yeah. But if you're in a place that's a nice Beit Midrash, it looks shallow and it's in the basement. It's not that much to it. But you know, this place was built to become Makom Yeshiva and Tzedakah and Bracha. What kind of people you have in there? People with Yirat Shamayim. People who want to learn Torah. People with good midot. Now, there is one more level, guys. One more level that has the power to fix suffering in this world. Besides for fasting and waking up early in the morning during Silichot. What is that? When a person accepts upon himself never to answer back when somebody puts you down. When somebody puts you down. When you accept upon yourself not to answer someone back when he puts you down, that's the greatest form of suffering. It's even worth more than fasting 500 fasts. Why? When a person fasts, he doesn't feel it right away, right? Only towards the end of the fast he starts to get hungry. I wish I could eat something. When a person gets embarrassed and doesn't answer back, at that moment, he loses his life. His neshama leaves his body. He wishes the earth opened up and he went inside. I once knew a rabbi. He was in shul for Yom Kippur, and the parochet was very loose. And the guy bought he was wearing a white kvittel. Kvittel is those Ashkenazim wear the white to look like angels. And he opens the parochet and suddenly the whole thing falls in front of the whole shul. The rabbi of the shul goes up to the guy and tells him, "I'm so jealous of you. I wish I was you right now." The guy was turning blue, red, yellow. Imagine, in front of everybody, the whole parochet, shabbat, falls. The rabbi holds his hand and says, "I wish I was you right now. I'm so jealous of you. I'm so jealous of you." But at the same time, a person has to understand that also, when a person is makpid on someone, is makpid. What does makpid mean? I hold a grudge on you. Make sure if somebody did you wrong, don't hold a grudge against them. And I'm going to say a story, and B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to end with this. There was a very big rabbi in the Gemara called Rav Dimi min Hada'a, from a city called Nahar Da'a. His name was Rav Dimi. He was the Gilgul of Chizkiyahu HaMelech. So Rav Dimi lived in a town called Nahar Da'a, and he was going to sell his merchandise. He used to sell dates. In Iraq, dates is a big thing. He used to sell dates around Iraq. So he was traveling to a city in Iraq called Mechoza. Over there, the chief rabbi's name was Rava. So Rava told his student, Rav Ada Bar Abba, go check, go to the port, when he gets off the boat, ask him a halacha. If he knows how to answer the halacha, when he goes to sell the dates in the shul, make sure nobody else sells besides for him. Because a rabbi gets to sell his merchandise first. That's the real halacha, by the way. The rabbi gets to sell his merchandise first because he's the higher stature. Man malke rabbana. So this Rav Ada Bar Abba, he listened to his Rebbe, Rava, and he went to the port. Out comes Rav Dimi, and he's with his satchels of dates. And Rav Ada is a big guy, tall, and he calls Rav Dimi over. He says, "Rav Dimi, you're that rabbi from Nahar Da'a?" "Yeah." "I want to ask you a question. If an elephant ate bamboo sticks and it went to the bathroom and the bamboo sticks came out whole, it didn't digest, and then the goyim took the bamboo sticks, those same ones, and made a basket out of it, is that basket susceptible to tumah or not?" Whoa, where did that question come from? if an elephant... So Rav Dimi looked at him and says, "I have no idea." And then he asked him, "Are you Rava?" He thought he was Rava, the big rabbi. So Rav Ada Bar Abba, he hit him in his shul, like he's a nobody. Hit him in his shul. He tells him, "I'm your rabbi, and Rava is my rabbi, so you better put your head down." He tells Rav Dimi, imagine you just got off the boat. This guy is attacking you, and suddenly he's acting like you're a nobody? Since he couldn't answer the question, he didn't let him sell his dates, and he lost all of his merchandise. He went back home and started to cry. He goes, "Look at these rabbis." Who does he complain to? His Rebbe, Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef said, "What? They made fun of you? The God who cares about when a goy gets embarrassed, is not going to care about you. A couple of weeks later, they hear Rav Ada bar Abba is dead. And he was a big rabbi. He's all over the Gemara. When the rabbis heard that Rav Ada bar Abba was dead, they all got afraid. Why? When somebody is punished because of you, in Shamayim, they minus a little bit of your Olam Haba out. A little bit for your Olam Haba goes away. So Abaye, one of the big rabbis, said, Rav Ada bar Abba was punished because of me. Why? Because he used to make fun of me. He used to say, don't learn in my yeshiva, go learn in Rava's yeshiva. I punished him. Rav Yosef says, what are you talking about? I punished him. I said to him, God should take revenge. I punished him. The Gemara said, Abaye didn't punish him, and Rav Yosef didn't punish him. Who punished him? Rav Dimi, you think? No. Rav Dimi didn't punish him either. What happened? Look at this, Rabotai. Look how Hashem is so specific with the tzaddikim. Rav Ada bar Abba used to have a chavruta, study partner. His name was Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak used to prepare his shiur with Rav Ada bar Abba. One day he was late to prepare with him, and they told Rav Nachman, give the shiur already, it's 10 o'clock, come on, it's late. So Rav Nachman says, I'm waiting for the body of Rav Ada bar Abba. He didn't say, I'm waiting for Rav Ada bar Abba. What did he say? I'm waiting for the body of Rav Ada bar Abba. So the Gemara said that's what killed him. The Gemara says, and this is why we do hatarat nedarim uklalot. When a person says something, you should know one thing. In Shamayim they say Amen. Even though Rav Dimi cried, he made me lose my merchandise, that wasn't what killed him. Even though Rav Yosef said Hashem should take revenge, that's not what killed him. Even though Abaye was makpid, that's not what killed him. What killed him was Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. When he said out of his mouth, I'm waiting for the body of Rav Ada bar Abba, in Shamayim, you know what they said? Amen. And that day he died. Why does the Gemara tell us this story? Rabotai, a lot of the suffering that we have in our lives is not because of averot. It's not because of sins. You know why? Because you're cursing yourself. People are cursing you. You know, sometimes parents say to their kids, may you be like this, may you have like that, may you have kids like you. This is my du'o. This is my blessing. You should have kids like yourself. You think in Shamayim they don't say amen to that? Not only to the good stuff, to the bad stuff. And sometimes you say when you fight with your wife or with your brother, you say bad stuff to them. I hope you, God forbid, I hope this guy dies. I hope this person happens to him like this. Every word that you said, it's weighed in Shamayim. That's why before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, before Hashem stamps our deen, what do? Hatarat, nedarim, uklalot. Before you do teshuvah, first you gotta annul all the curses upon you. So Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach, tonight, Be'ezrat Yitbarach, may we be successful and do hatarat nedarim uklalot. May we be inscribed in the book of life. May we take this chance of Chodesh Elul and really make the world in the sight of the Zechut. May we merit Biyat Mashiach Tzidkeinu Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. We have